Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Christine Sweet and I look forward to sharing some of my favorite plant-based and vegan recipes with you, as well as some of my tips and tricks I've learned along the way. Today we're going to make one of my favorite breakfast items, which is French toast. But I have a secret ingredient that really makes this French toast pop. What's unique about this French toast recipe is that we're not going to be cooking it on the pan because this is a completely oil-free French toast. And so I found the best way to make vegan oil-free French toast is to bake it in a baking dish. And so today I'm using some regular peasant bread, which is kind of like an Italian rustic loaf or French bread. Another great option would be to use a sprouted whole grain bread. When shopping for bread at the grocery store, I always read all the ingredients on the back because a lot of times there's some added dairy, like milk or even eggs added into the ingredients list, as well as added oil. So I always read the back of my bread whenever I'm shopping, and I tend to always find that Italian bread or French bread is dairy-free. Now we're going to create our egg batter, minus the eggs, for our French toast. So first off, I'm going to make a flax egg using 1 tablespoon of flaxseed. And instead of making a traditional flax egg where you add in 3 tablespoons of water to 1 tablespoon of your flaxseed meal, I'm going to just go ahead and start adding in my different liquids for the recipe. And so that leaves us to my secret ingredient to making the perfect French toast, which is a little bit of orange juice. So I'm going to squeeze 1 full orange into our batter. And I'm using Cara oranges, which are really nice and sweet and super flavorful. If you don't have a fresh orange on hand, you could use 1/4 cup of fresh orange juice instead. The orange smells so fragrant and delicious. Now we'll be adding 1 cup of soy milk or other non-dairy milk beverage. And I always love using Trader Joe's soy milk because it has 2 ingredients: water and organic soybeans. There's no fillers, there's no added salts or sweeteners. Now we'll go ahead and add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I really love vanilla, so I always make sure to overflow on my teaspoon. And we'll use a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now this is optional, but I'm going to add in a little pinch of nutmeg, or a little sprinkle. And another secret to making plant-based vegan French toast is to use black salt, otherwise known as Kala Namak, which is a very sulfuric smelling salt from India, and that helps add a little bit of egg flavor to our batter. So I'm going to go ahead and use 1/8 teaspoon of black salt. So a very small amount. Now for our sweetness, I'll be adding 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Alternately, you could use date paste or date sugar. And that is everything that we're going to add into our French toast batter. So very easy and quick to do to make something that tastes really special in the morning. I'm gonna give it a little taste. Oh, that's really good. The added nutmeg is definitely worth doing. So now we're going to go ahead and take our batter and just pour it right over the top of our bread and make sure that we want it to soak into every slice. So depending on the size of the slices, I'm usually able to fit 6 slices in where it's completely flat across, but since these are somewhat larger bread slices, they're not fitting in the pan very well. And now that they've gotten wet, they're a little more malleable and soft, so I'm trying to see if I can rearrange them a little bit, because we'd like each bread piece to be really soaking up all of that batter we just poured on top that's now at the bottom of the pan. We wouldn't want to overstuff our pan because we do want the top to get a little crispy when we put them in the oven. If you like, you can let your bread soak in your batter for around maybe 3 to 5 minutes, but you really don't need it to soak very long. And we heated up our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to be putting it in there for 20 minutes to bake. Went off for our French toast. So let's go take a peek and get it out of the oven. It turned out perfect. The edges of the crust got nice and crispy, but then the center of the bread is still moist and really absorbed all of those flavors from our batter that we created. So now let's get this dished up and enjoy some breakfast. It's cooked with no oil. It may stick to the pan a little bit, so we want to be careful when spatulaing it out. Go ahead and add some strawberries or your favorite fruit, like a banana always tastes good, right on top. Sprinkle some powdered sugar. Now that might be sweet enough for you, but I always love maple syrup. I put it on everything, so I'm going to go ahead and drizzle some more maple syrup on top. Now that looks magnifique. Guys, it's so good, I can't stop eating it. The crust got nice and crispy in the center. Is nice and soft and flavorful from our batter. And then with the fresh strawberries, because they just became in season for summer, it's really perfect. The orange is so subtle, you barely taste it, but it's a nice background, so there's a lot of really rich flavors happening between the orange, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, and just that little touch of black salt really makes this the perfect vegan French toast. If you enjoyed this recipe and are going to try it at home, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because lots of plant-based and vegan cooking videos are on their way. Once again, I'm Christine Sweet, and thanks for joining me in my kitchen.